I found out why my neighbor always stares at me through her window, and it's not what you think. Every morning for 2 months, I'd catch Mrs. Henderson watching me through her kitchen window while I got ready for work. She'd stand there with her coffee mug, just staring. When I'd wave, she'd quickly duck behind her curtains like she was hiding something. My girlfriend Emma kept saying it was creepy and that I should call the cops or something. The whole thing started when I moved into this rental house right next to hers. She seemed normal at first, brought me homemade cookies on my first day, even helped me figure out which trash day was which. But then, the staring began. Every single morning at exactly 7:15, there she was, watching me through my living room window as I ate breakfast and got dressed for my job at the hardware store. Emma was convinced Mrs. Henderson was some kind of stalker. She'd come over and see her peeking through the blinds, then get all worked up about it. This is so weird, Josh. Normal people don't just watch their neighbors like that. She's probably planning to break in or something worse. Emma even suggested I install security cameras. But honestly, Mrs. Henderson was like 70 years old and barely 5 feet tall. One Thursday morning, I was running late for work and forgot to close my curtains the night before. I walked into my living room in just boxers to grab my phone charger, and there was Mrs. Henderson at her window as usual. But this time, instead of ducking away, she started waving frantically and pointing toward my front door. I threw on some pants and went outside, expecting her to finally explain her weird behavior. Instead, she hurried over with tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry for watching you every morning," she said, wiping her face with a tissue. "I know it looks strange, but I had to make sure you were okay." That's when she told me the real story. Apparently, the guy who lived in my house before me was her nephew, Tyler. He'd been struggling with depression and addiction for years. She'd gotten into the habit of checking on him every morning through the window because he'd promised her it was the only way she'd know he made it through another night safely. "Tyler overdosed in that living room 6 months ago," she said, pointing toward my house. "I found him 3 days later when I realized I hadn't seen him move around in there. I called the police, but it was too late." She started crying harder. "When you moved in and I saw someone young living there again, I couldn't help myself. I just needed to see that you were alive and moving around each morning." My stomach dropped. Emma had been complaining about some weird smell when we first started dating, and I moved in, but the landlord said it was just old carpet. Now I realized what it probably was. Mrs. Henderson continued, "I know it's not normal, but after losing Tyler like that, seeing you get up and have breakfast every day gave me some peace. Like maybe that house could have happy memories again." I felt like such an idiot for being annoyed with her. Here I was thinking she was being creepy, when really she was just a grieving aunt trying to process losing her nephew in the worst way possible. "I should have explained sooner," she said, "but I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable living there knowing what happened." That evening I told Emma everything. She felt terrible for calling Mrs. Henderson creepy and suggested we invite her over for dinner. So we did. We started having her over every Sunday, and she'd tell us stories about Tyler and show us old photos. Turns out he'd been a really talented artist and musician before his problems got bad. Mrs. Henderson stopped watching through the window after that conversation, but she still waves when she sees me in the morning.